Thanks, Art. It's with deep sadness that we wanted to let you know that former select board member Jared Collins died last October 21st, so recently, of after a brief illness. And we're just, I think the whole community is shocked and saddened by that loss to us and to his family. And so we send sympathy to his wife, Alana, and the rest of the Collins family at this really horrible time for them. And there are visiting hours at the Nickerson Funeral Home this Thursday between 4 and 7, if anyone wants to stop in and see the family and send some love.
Thank you, Jackie. We'll start with public and select board information. Does anyone have anything?
Good, you go ahead.
Okay. All right, yes, I do. Thank you. Putnam Farm,
Oh, yeah.
which is just it's right behind the courthouse in Orleans, and it's goes right up literally to the Eastham border. They're offering, I believe it's 5 new plots for their lottery. So they're 50 by 70 feet each, so they're huge garden plots. It's an annual fee of $500. And I believe in the spring, they will run the lottery, but they encourage people to sign up, soon. Should do so now. It says to sign up. And you can either call, I believe, the Orleans Conservation Department,
Yep,
or in person, visit town hall and sign up. Because if you don't have garden space at your home and you'd like to grow something, you can. It can be for personal use. It can be for commercial use. They have no availability to sell things at the farm, but you could take them other places for other uses.
Yeah, they just want it to be used. There's going to be a flyer sent out. I'm sure it's online, but he just sent it to us today. I'll put it in my manager's report and we'll do a flash.
Great.
Thank you.
Jerry, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to commend the rec department and all the town departments that participated in Halloween on the Green on Saturday. It was great to see all the children out there and with all the costumes, and it was a pleasure. And so I wanted to just extend that. And because we participated as a select board, we were offered a golden gourd, which we have right here. And I think it's
nice
just something great. We can put it by Art there, and he can put it in the Eastham Select Board trophy case at his house.
We could just call you the Golden Boards. That could
There you
be his
go.
new ceremonial title.
There
Golden
there it
goose.
is. And
It's very attractive.
and the only other thing is the next rec event is Sunday, November 12th, I think at noon. It's the
Oh, yeah,
rubber
the
duck race at
go
First
to that.
Encounter Beach, which is just a great event to watch the kids just have a blast. And if you haven't been there, you should try and make it at least once.
You said the 12th?
The 12th, Sunday, the 12th, I believe it's at noon.
And it's at
Bees River.
Bees River.
Bees River. Okay.
Yeah, Beach River at the far end of First Encounter
Mhm.
Beach.
And you can win
You can win turkeys or
turkeys or
pies.
pies. I've won pies 2 years in a row.
On both.
Do you have to bring
Wow.
a duck?
What?
No,
No.
you purchase a duck. Call the rec for it, and you purchase a duck for $1. You register.
With the rec department.
I had
You
ducks
buy
1 through
tickets.
5 one year.
Can I buy like many
Five,
ducks?
right.
Buy tickets and then the ducks race. And then they pull out ducks out of a bucket and if you have the right number, you get a gift.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
I've never been able to go. I'm playing hooky. I'm going.
Really?
A lot of fun.
I want to go
Fun.
too. This is be my first year. I always
Sometimes
forget.
it's been 60 degrees and sometimes it's been like
Cool.
12.
And Jerry always does a good job of handing out hot chocolate.
Good.
Jerry's
good.
a hot chocolate guy.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Jerry. We met today with everybody and their brother. on the Salt Pond remediation program for the road runoff. We got our consultants there and we had the NCRS there
Mhm.
and a lot of people. We committed to give what we hope is the last piece of information at this stage of the project to the seashore within the next week. And they committed to respond in 6 weeks. So hopefully we're moving forward with the program. And so that's where we are. Does anybody in the public have anything they'd like to speak to about that is not on today's agenda? Okay, we'll get started. We're going to change the agenda a little bit. We're going to start with Scott Kerry on committee appointments.
Hi, good evening, everybody here. Yeah. I just also would like to extend my sympathies to the Collins and Alana and her mom and quite a sad story. So thinking of them. But tonight I'm here as a moderator to fulfill an appointment to the search committee. And I'm pleased to let you know that we've appointed a woman by the name of Gergana Alexieva. And I think that her resume of experience was included in your packet and clearly has a great background of industry work in I think a lot of it is web design and that type of field. Also Kate Paradise and Sheldon Ross have met with her.
Nice.
Okay, great. And couldn't have had any more glowing things to say, and want to welcome her to participation in our democracy here in the town of Eastham. And as a moderator, I'm very pleased to make that appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. No,
This is a very, very important position because you funnel all the candidates for all the committees and we need a lot of candidates.
Mhm.
So thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for coming tonight too.
Yeah, I just like to say I got to know Gargana a little bit. Windmill Weekend Committee, she worked diligently with Joanna. And yeah, very hardworking woman and yeah, look forward to it.
great. Well, again, thank you for your service and we appreciate it and good luck to you.
Thank you, Scott.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Okay, we're going to start with the review and approval of the bond issue results.
So in your packet, you have a long motion that you just
Jerry
need to
gets to
reference
read.
to make.
Which I
But
get
we-
to read. Okay.
You don't need to
There
read
you
it.
got
You can
it.
reference the
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
motion as printed in your packet. But we did get 8 bidders to provide responses to our bond issuance, and the bond is awarded to Fidelity Capital Markets. As you recall, we had about $10,250,000 worth of bonds to issue. They offered, all the bonds were stated at a 5% interest cost, but the way this typically works, and this was no exception, all the 8 bidders provided a bond premium, which essentially either buys down principal or interest associated with it. So we end up in the final result, Fidelity being the lowest cost to the town, issuing $9,950,000 worth of bonds, and the net interest cost after the application of the premium being 3.73%.
nice.
It's nice.
As part of that process, we also had to go through a bond rating analysis with Standard & Poor's. I think it went very well, and the good news is in every category, we're now considered very strong with one exception, and that's our debt and contingent liabilities. Because as a small town, we've got a lot of debt and they continue to rate us very weak. And therefore, in their opinion, are not giving us a AAA rating, but we maintained a AA+ rating. So that was a little disheartening, but we'll follow up with them on some of the criteria. I take issue with that analysis, but it is what it is, and it's hard to fight it at this point. So, but I think, it felt pretty good that all the efforts that the communities, town meetings, select board, finance committee have supported over the last few years was recognized and were considered very strong. The key one was a very strong management. It's just indicative of the effort we put into what we're doing. And so the town should be feel good about that. But At any rate, we're ready to move forward with the bonds. And so what we're looking for tonight is a motion and a vote on what was presented in your packet.
Does anybody in the select board have any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion, Jerry.
Yes, I move that we approve the bond statements that appear in our packets.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Suzanne,
Yes.
Jamie,
Aye.
Jerry,
Yes,
Amy,
Aye.
and the chair is an aye. Thank you. The next thing we're going to talk about are common victular license renewals. One for Common Farms at number 6731 at 4460 State Highway. And one for the Eastham Elementary School at 200 Schoolhouse Road.
Yeah,
Jamie?
I just have a quick question. On the one for Cumberland Farms, it says days and hours of operation are Monday through Sunday, 24 hours. Is the maximum that they're allowed to operate, but they can operate under those hours?
Right.
Okay, just clarifying. Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the common victular licenses as renewals as presented.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Okay, Suzanne,
Yes.
Jamie,
Aye.
Jerry,
Yes,
Amy,
Aye.
and the chair is an aye. All right. Next is the community appointments. Beverly Hobbs to the Human Services Advisory Committee.
Oh,
I'll make a motion to appoint Beverly Hobbs to the Human Services Advisory Commission or Committee.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that?
I believe she's been on before.
Yep.
Yeah,
this
she
is- yeah.
was on and then came. off.
previously, yes.
Okay. We'll vote. Suzanne,
Yes.
Jamie,
Aye.
Jerry,
Yes,
Amy,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. And we have one committee resignation, Lauren Arcamano from the Human Services Advisory Committee.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Lauren Arcamano.
Second.
Any discussion? So we'll vote. Suzanne,
Yes.
Jamie,
Aye.
Jerry,
yes.
Amy,
Aye.
and the chair is an aye. Okay, up to the town manager's report.
So not too much tonight. I just I highlighted some regional things that are coming up. Also, just to let you know that the opioid settlement money, you all had, or the 4 Outer Cape town boards or select boards had made a decision a few months ago to try and design a program that would be for the Outer Cape and to address the opioid issue, to use our opioid funds that we've gotten from the legal settlement. And so that proposal is coming before the Board of Health and will come to you very shortly after. So probably at your meeting in November. Just wanted to let you know that you'll have a chance to take a look at that, see what you think. And the Department of Public Health also gave the county a public health excellence grant that will promote a lot of cross-jurisdictional training and preparation for all the towns on the Cape. So that's a good one. Quite a few of us went to the Housing Summit in Hyannis. It was very good. They did a lot of highlighting programs and services that have come out in the past year and discussed at length the new proposed housing bond bill. And I know Jamie also went to a session on that, so that will be bringing some information forward to you on that. And the best news ever came from Rich. The town of Eastham has been notified that we will receive $4,740,000 in loan forgiveness, or 31.6% of the contract for Phase 2E of the public water system.
Phenomenal.
So this is, SRF is receiving both ARPA and the bipartisan infrastructure law funds. So that's our portion. So isn't that exciting?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And we've had good loan forgiveness. I mean, we've had good percentages in the past, but nothing like this. I think
We
they'll,
had 20% on.
yeah, that was like the first one. And then we had a 13 one year.
That's right.
But
yeah.
So can you equate that to a tax avoidance?
yeah, we
So in other
do
words-
not have to pay back $4,740,000.
Can we equate that back? So like do a flash, explain
Oh.
what we got and then came back to this. That means for every householder, they'll save $2.50
Okay,
per assessed value.
That we wouldn't have had to.
Yeah, that we would have had to pay.
Could figure that out.
That'd be great.
it's awesome.
Okay, is that?
Oh,
it?
and one more thing, as you know, Eastham and Orleans have been meeting. We formed a new wastewater task force for the two towns just to address our watersheds that are shared. So that's Town Cove, Rock Harbor, and Abelinos Creek, just, anyway. So we've been meeting for, I want to say, the past 4 or 5 months. And what we would like your permission to do is send a letter on behalf of both Eastham and Orleans to the DEP, basically stating that we are working on coordinated solutions, that we intend to file a watershed permit for our joint estuaries, and that will help us freeze that point in time so that our residents will be protected from having to advance IA systems very soon. So if you want to take a look, I don't know, it wasn't not in your packet, but just take a look at it and see if it's something that you guys could agree to do, and that would be awesome.
To just let you know that we're okay with it.
Yeah, they have to actually authorize you to sign it, I think, is basically.
So you guys,
Authorized Art to sign it.
Mhm.
you guys will draft the letter.
Yeah,
It's,
This is it.
this is the
That's it.
letter.
This is the letter?
yeah.
This is the letter.
Is it possible to email the letter to Suzanne?
You
'Cause
I think you
Yeah.
have it there.
First.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Suzanne.
Suzanne, sure.
All right, so how do
Do
we
we
want
have
to
it
do
in-
this?
George Meserve sent it to me. We'll have to scan it and send it.
Wait till our next meeting to do
Yeah, we
this?
can
We
do
meet
that.
next Monday, right?
We were gonna possibly cancel next
Okay.
Monday because I don't think we need to have it because this one was so close.
So I have on the agenda the 13th and the 27th, so
Ah,
so I guess we have to decide if we want to have just one meeting in November. It didn't really look like it was very busy.
Now, the
why don't we do the
27th,
13th and the 27th.
So I
It's
think
the,
skip that.
it's the first and we always do the first and the third.
Unless the first is a holiday, the first
Right,
Monday's a
right.
holiday or something. yeah.
Mhm.
I
So
think the
just do it
20th works or the 21st, whenever that.
27th, that's the Monday after Thanksgiving.
No, do the first, go before that, the week before that,
20th.
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 That's when we're scheduled. We're scheduled for the 6th and the 20th.
All right, so we can wait till the 6th to do this though?
No, we're not
Wait
going
till
to
the
have the
20th.
6th.
Can we wait till the 20th to do that?
Can we wait till the 20th to do it? That's the Orleans Board is going to vote on it next week.
Wait, we're not meeting on the 13th? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm confused. Okay.
gonna meet on the 20th. I mean, we can add a meeting if you guys want to meet next week. It's just that we don't have a lot for that agenda.
Yeah, I won't be here next week. That's why I was just trying to
Okay.
clarify. if it
I
was
I
the
just like
13th.
this to be able to do this as quickly as possible.
Possible.
So what are your recommendations?
Well, Suzanne hasn't read it. Otherwise, I mean,
I know that,
I've
so
read the letter.
How about if we all, do we have to vote on it or can we all just get back to you and say it's okay? Or not okay?
How about if you all get back to me and say yes or no?
Okay,
And then then we can always vote on it on the 20th, but that way we can get it started if there's a consensus of the board.
And we can
Okay.
email it out.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's
Is that good
fine
with you,
with me.
Suzanne?
Okay, Suzanne?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So we don't meet
Is
the
that it?
13th, but we do meet.
That's it for me.
New and upcoming agenda items and our follow-up from previous items. Anybody have anything?
Jackie.
Oh, sorry.
Suzanne,
Suzanne had something.
Yeah, you can go first.
I mean, I was wondering about a tiny tea time update because I know that we've talked about it and it's kind of like a little bit behind the scenes in process. And I was wondering if we had a little update for the public.
Sure. I think the last one we did was when Paul came in September, but basically, and I was actually asked by Mary Nee from the zoning task force to perhaps do a flash update or some kind of something. So we can go forward and do something like that too. But basically, what we are working on currently is that we've hired a consultant. His name is Ted Brovitz. And Mr. Brovitz is working with the zoning task force to create a form-based code for the town of Eastham. So basically this is the last zoning necessity for us in that district. So it'll cover from Brackett Road forward all the way to the Wellfleet line, basically to take a look at what kind of density we can allow and what it needs to look like and feel like, what the setbacks are, very specifically for that zone before we do any development. Right. So that's part one. And then the Environmental Partners Group transportation engineer is also working on what our connecting Main Street might be able to look like or be like. So those two pieces are being worked on kind of behind the scenes. You're right. Although there is a public forum, it's not open to the public, but for business owners who are interested in having some input into that form-based code, Paul Lag and the Community Development Department will be doing a workshop on December 2nd. So that will, but basically it's looking at the last piece in zoning and trying to figure out whether we can create a road that would be like a main street. Those are our two tasks. And we are working very slowly through Tea Time in Town Center Plaza. And I know it's frustrating, but we really do need to have a wastewater plan before we can really tackle development in the area significantly. So we are moving along. It's just at a very slow pace, deliberate pace, I like to
And
think.
it's the like slightly maybe less interesting. I mean, it's not necessarily less interesting to us, but in terms of we went through the whole public facing process to gather
Yes.
input, and now it's kind of like the you have to be a really big nerd to be like, yeah, I want to look at form-based code.
Right. This is like the making sausage part, where we're
It's the making
taking
sausage
sort
part,
of
yeah.
the public input and saying, how is it going to fit in this zone? And what protections do we need to have in place? And, to protect our rural identity, but allow some density at the same time. So.
Thank you. That was helpful.
Jamie, did you have something?
I did. So just for some future agenda items that we've been chatting about, I was looking at the potential to look at the cap on the number of short-term rentals in the town at large. In addition, then a cap on the number of short-term rentals per person. So it's two different categories to look at. I think Provincetown was just looking at some of this as well. And it's something we've talked about mainly so people have awareness that this is coming too, so that if you do have a short-term rental, it's extremely important that it gets registered with the town, because if this cap, should this cap finally go into place, or should we decide to do this, you don't want to be left out. So I was hoping maybe that's something we could talk about, and decide, maybe think about where that number is.
So one limits townwide
Right.
number, a hard number, and it's whatever you have at the time, correct?
Mm-mm.
No, you can, it can be.
It can't be lower.
It can't be lower than what
It
you,
can't be lower than
right,
what you have. Okay.
right, exactly. It can be higher, it can be the same, but it can't be lower.
And then the other one is per person.
Individual.
Okay.
Right.
Jamie, what's the definition of a short-term rental? Time-wise.
30 days or
30
less.
days, yeah, I thought
So
so.
if you rent for a week, you're considered a short-term rental.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
So that would pick up probably most of the vacation rentals in
Yes.
Eastham.
Yeah.
correct.
So again, we've gotten some, we've pulled together some examples of what other communities have done, so we can, send those to you. We're also sending all this information to the zoning task force, asking them to take a look. I know they're busy with form-based code, but definitely we would want their input on this as well. And then we can come back with a work session or something to do. Did you want to do you wanted to do the fractional ownership as well?
That, yes, that would be probably another, in addition to this, looking
Okay.
at the, a bylaw on timeshares and fractional ownership of residential properties.
So you would get the baseline, would try and get the baseline from the current database that we have of people that ask for rental certificates.
Correct. That's where we would start. That would give us our starting place, I think.
So if you have somebody that was renting for a month, rents a house for a month at a time, that's not a short-term rental. right?
31 days.
It has to be
31
over
days?
30 days. is-
Now, in the town of Eastham, we still require a rental certificate, but it's not considered a short-term rental.
Okay,
Right.
But that's 30 or 31.
31
One.
days would no longer be a short-term rental.
30 days is short term.
Correct, 30 or under. Which, I mean, most of the vacation rentals out here are a week.
Well, these monthly rentals for July and August are not short term.
If it's 31
It's
days.
31 days.
Yeah, if I rent for all of July or if I rent for all of August, it's 31 days.
Most people do that. They do a 4-week. though.
4-week thing, yeah, I
So that would be
understand.
under, yeah.
That would be under, 28 would be under.
Yep.
And again, it's something to talk about and discuss. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily something
Right.
you guys have to do.
Exactly. But I
Um,
think it's something that we need to just keep talking about, and even if we do it annually until we're ready, till we feel like we're at a place where it's time.
There's also some questions about like cottage colonies and how they fit in some of those.
So
when you try
that's-
to limit.
Yeah, that was on my list too. Yeah, exactly. Is seeing, because I think that was a problem we had run into previously was, is there a way to get at that scenario where you're not negatively impacting a cottage colony? Because that is something different.
mhm.
We feel it's something different. For
Yeah.
some reason, the law doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some
under,
places don't, right?
right, under the multiple ownership thing,
Right.
which it's all in one property. I don't understand how
Yeah.
it's
I think
considered
there's
multiple.
just something
right.
that's culturally
So you need to
Um,
hear.
culturally accepted and historic about a cottage colony on Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Right? All the Cape Towns had them, whether you love them or not, they're part of our
There's not many left.
rental history, and there aren't that many left. So we definitely don't want to undercut their business.
I agree.
And they weren't necessarily meant to be, it's not like a single family home.
Right.
Exactly.
It's meant to be, there's some of them aren't winterized, some of them are very small.
Yeah.
It was meant for the purpose
Of a
that it was
vacation.
built.
Yeah.
But I would like to see the timeshare and the fractional potentially as articles for
Yeah.
this coming town meeting.
So how would you handle a motel?
A motel, well, that's
Exempt.
exempt because it's gonna be registered with the state as a,
It's a
hotel,
business
it's a
and they're in a
business.
business zone,
right,
right? So we've accepted motels and hotels as businesses,
And
not
They already have, they
residential
already have a
neighborhoods.
tax, which is
Yeah.
now the same as the short-term rental tax.
Yeah, I think we're getting at more residentially zoned spaces as opposed to mixed use or commercial.
Are we able to either put this? Did you want it on a future agenda or did we want a session just for this?
I think we can just add it to the
I think we
agenda.
should add it to agenda, but do it like as a work session so that we can,
Right.
maybe invite Paul, the members of the zoning task force, Rachel from
Yep.
housing,
We can work-
perhaps the health department, just do the whole.
hash it out together.
Yep.
Great. And I have one other thing written down, if it's okay
Sure.
for me to keep moving, okay. The affordable housing tax exemption. Now, I believe, Jackie, we chatted about this.
Yep.
Gosh, I don't have good notes written. Do you want to expand on that a little more?
Yeah, basically, some communities have adopted,
Yeah.
Provincetown
Right.
in particular has adopted a tax exemption for people for owners who rent their houses year round as opposed to short term to a person of moderate to low income. So if you
80% AMI.
80% or less. So if you do that, and we can certainly create guidelines, but they get a tax break for doing that. And I don't know if it seriously incentivizes people to rent year round affordably, but it's a way to do it annually so that people do not have to, the owner doesn't have to commit to renting their house or their cottage or their apartment affordable for the rest of their lives. There's no deed
no
restriction.
restriction.
It's annual that they get to say, and if they do it, they get the exemption. If they don't, they don't.
And it's a
has to be
percentage.
80% AMI.
Mhm.
We don't get to change that, do we?
I don't know, because I think we have to look at the statute for that.
Yeah, it would be a statutory provisions that we'd have to follow.
Now, you and I have talked about offering second home homeowners some sort of tax reduction if they rent their second home year round.
And that's what this is.
So
But
no,
this
it's not.
wasn't necessarily
this
locked
is-
into affordable though.
So I don't
Oh.
think, and we can check, but I don't think the state would allow us to do that.
Right.
But
If we can raise the AMI.
But what we can talk about is giving an incentive to people, homeowners who are renting short term now that want to convert to year round. The town could do that. So in other words, instead of a tax break, you'd get a
Stipend.
subsidy.
It's the same, basically, it's
Yes,
theoretically the
yeah,
same.
theoretically the same thing.
Okay.
So it would go, this is from someone who would rent short term, then goes to renting all year.
All
It's
year.
not renting short term and decide, okay, I've retired, now I'm gonna move here. So.
No, it has to be a year round rental. Has to create a year round rental.
Mhm.
But not indefinitely.
No,
Year, but well,
Year by year.
if we're gonna give money,
It'd be
okay, it'd be just a 1 year
annually.
shot. Oh, an annual.
I think we first discussed this a couple of years ago. I think we were thinking of having a period of time so a family or an individual would feel like they had safe housing for a little bit. So,
Not just
you know,
year to
at
year.
least 2 years, perhaps 3 years. So everyone would agree to a term
Okay.
ahead of time.
Got it.
So as we're talking, I'm putting a list together and we can just,
And I'm looking at all these as like we always approach every year as tools, right? These
Yep.
are all different tools that we should be talking about
Mhm.
to help, come at this housing situation because it's not going to be one solution. And some of the tools I like, some of the tools I don't really love. I don't love this tool. I don't like the idea of giving money back to a second homeowner. The idea of giving money back to someone who obviously is doing just fine is a struggle for me to wrap my brain around. But I think that in the end, the benefit of something like that is for the greater good of the community and it does make sense.
Yep.
So, but that's why we put it on the agenda so we can talk
Yeah.
about it.
Well, it goes hand part and parcel with the cap idea that you have too, Jamie, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is to subsidize or make the differential between renting year round versus what you can get renting for 10 or 12 weeks.
Right.
so
Smaller.
that it's worth it.
Isn't it crazy that it's that drastically different?
And I'll send
It's
you.
weekly versus monthly rent.
Yeah.
They're about the same.
I'll send you the Provincetown just did a study.
Work.
That's right,
Um,
we were talking about that.
They just did a study. And so I'll send you that too, because it's less money than you think because of the things that you don't have to pay for with an annual rental. You don't have cleaning costs every week. You don't have to pay the realtor or whoever who's renting it for you. So there's all kinds of costs involved in short-term rentals that there aren't in a year-round rental. So the cost differential kind of goes down because of that.
Isn't there one other thing we talked about, upping, or we're gonna talk about it in fees, I know,
Hmm.
but upping the short-term rental certificate?
Yes, cost.
The cost.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna look
Be
at
in line with.
fees very seriously this year to be in line with communities around us, and especially that one, I
Yeah.
think, because we have not raised that fee in forever. I think
Yeah,
it's been the same.
It was,
period.
yeah, it was $75 maybe 10
And now
years ago.
it's, yeah. Okay.
Now it's 100.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
changed much yet.
Yeah, that's gotta change.
Um,
Yeah, so maybe add that on there too, yeah.
Amy, do you have something?
yeah, another thing you brought up, Jackie, was a letter to Sarah Peak about the community
Oh,
fund.
yep.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's necessary
Okay.
because I just talked to Sarah Fernandez, her aide, on Friday. And it is passed through the Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government. They think it should be voted on in this legislative session before Christmas in the House, and then it will be moving to the Senate. So
Oh.
it looks like we're in line to get it done
So we
by
don't need a
June
reminder
30th.
letter.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
If it gets snagged in the Senate, we can write Julian a letter.
Right.
Because everything
That's
on
an
my list.
important, that is for me, a very important piece
And-
of legislation because it's we can target help to those who
Those who
need
need
it
it,
as
yes.
opposed to a blanket,
Blanket,
here's
yeah.
a.
Right.
Yeah. And it gives you, again, a huge new tool.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, we're gonna do that in other business, weren't we?
No, that's
That's
fine.
okay.
That's fine.
I just realized I
We're
was a
so
little ahead
formal
of the.
here.
Okay, is there
I know.
anything else anybody has? All right, let's go to minutes. We need to approve the minutes of September 25th and the minutes of October 16th. Let's do those separate because I'm going to need to abstain from at least one of them.
Right,
Disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared from
It
the,
was there.
it's gone, yeah.
So have to do those next meeting, but we could do September 20th.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to approve the minutes of September 25th.
Second.
Yeah, I have one item, right in who's there, right in the top, you have vice chair, semicolon, there wasn't any, and then with no name on the list, if you just,
Change that.
yeah, if I read it right, let me make sure.
Is there anything else? Okay, do we have a motion in a second? I don't remember now.
Did you
Yes.
second it?
I
You
second.
had a motion in a second, I
Okay,
guess.
so if there's no discussion, let's vote. Suzanne,
Yes.
Jamie,
Aye.
Jerry,
Yes,
Aye.
Amy? And I abstained because I wasn't here for that meeting. Okay, and we'll put off October 16th. Other business and correspondence. Does anybody have anything?
That was it.
One quick thing, Art and I have been attending
You stole my-
certain,
God.
certain training.
That
You stole
photo
my
is
thunder.
amazing.
I just got my CPR certificate.
Did you get
Yeah, I
it?
just got it.
I haven't got mine. So if anybody needs CPR or
see Amy, not
Around
Art.
fire.
for defibrillation or needs to have a fire put out or needs to do a
Wow.
search for somebody or something.
Or
Or
needs a line for food
Yeah, for
distribution,
point
for
of
cards,
distribution,
point of distribution.
any of that stuff, we're experts. And if things
You're
go well,
experts.
and we have one more meeting, then a final exam. And if we pass the final exam,
Graduate
we will graduate.
And you get a t-shirt.
next Tuesday.
No, I understood. We understood we're not, but I don't know.
Oh,
We're gonna
no.
get those nice orange or the yellow vests.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Because they gave us cheapo green vests.
And they're not official.
So
Cheapo.
and green, only orange and yellow are good. Green's not good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, if you need anything, Amy will take care of you. I'm not stopping any blood. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, it was
right.
quite fascinating with using a defibrillator. We have them here, right?
Yeah,
Library has them, I know.
You know exactly how.
they
to
might
do
have
it.
taken it down because none of us did a training. Might have taken it down. It used to be in the hallway.
Well, I hope you.
But the defibs don't
Get-
take it down.
Fire station to come over and do one.
Okay.
But
It's
it-
not that. They have a really good
I
instructor at
was-
Chatham,
I was-
Chatham Fire
I
Department.
Was
He was
worried
great.
about
Gotta go
it.
get, stay away.
It's really pretty easy.
Yeah, but you have to make sure the person's not breathing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you do that.
It
first.
tells you,
Yeah,
it,
It tells you, and then
Yeah,
you can't be
it-
touching the person. with the
Oh.
step.
but it analyzes them. If they have a heartbeat, it won't shock them.
Oh,
It's-
that's good.
Yeah,
That's very good.
I know. I was like, wow, this takes all the thinking out of it.
Okay, good.
It's the automated part,
Yeah.
AED.
Is that how Hart was
Great.
able to pass? No.
So,
Okay,
Okay.
is there anything else? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we'll vote. Suzanne,
Yes.
Amy?
Aye.